looking at it from the bottom side, I do have to, I don't know if you can see my finger, but there, where I'm tapping, I'm gonna have to send a rod through there. So I have to mock up my, like, this is where the brake pedal mounts, on that little piston there. So I gotta make another hole, mock up the brake, that way I've got a spot for it. But you can see all the steel I can add back in there to give it some more strength, because it's almost completely hollow. I mean, these little two flanges that are on the original inner frame rail don't give a whole lot of strength, and you can see the hole there. That part of the brake assembly mount wasn't even attached before. They only had 3 bolts on three of the 4 corners holding it in. So you can see I can add quite a bit of steel in there to give it some more strength, so it doesn't. So the 2 outer pieces. Let's see if don't want to like flex in and out like that. I need to add at least something in the middle, but I think I can add quite a bit, and actually give a spot for where you can see my finger there, tapping in for another bolt there. So I'm gonna, let's see, where is it? That's the brake pedal there. So I'm gonna have to set that up on the sleeve, or on that piston that goes through the other side of this mount here. That way I can make sure that this, I got a Clevis thing, has a place to mount to the push rod that goes through the master cylinder. So that's next. I'll finish up mocking up the pedal assembly that way. Once I've got all the clearance I need, I'll close this up to give like just enough clearance around there. I'll, like I did with pulling the templates off of the back of the frame, I'll layer up a bunch of masking tape here, cut out my patch that's going to go in there, and then weld it in place. And then I also have to do here, this part up here is not exactly like a 90 degree. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a divot in the, I don't know why they cut it out. They did have the fuel lines and brake lines, basically like the front firewall kind of comes down maybe right here or so. I'm guessing that they probably thought they needed to cut that out to add clearance for the brake lines that they added when they added the hydraulic brakes. That's really not needed. You can run brake lines through lots of places. I mean, they could have ran it through that little hole up here instead of cutting out. I don't know why they cut that out. It really makes no sense to me. So the only lines, you get the brake lines and the fuel line, which I could run up through here instead of through this hole they cut. Maybe they cut that out for the wiring harness so it doesn't get pinched. But I mean, your guess is as good as mine why they cut that. I mean, I'd rather have a wiring harness pinched against this smooth surface here than having brake lines and wiring harnesses pinched up against these rough surfaces. I mean, I've ground this down a little bit smooth. I still got to do a little bit more work in there to square off these lines a little bit, so I can add a patch in there. But who knows? I mean, sometimes you just inherit problems, and I mean, I really don't think my grandpa did that. Never saw him actually drive the car. He probably bought the frame with the cab on it, just with the intent of making patch panels off the body. That's really my guess. I mean, that's what he did. He made patch panels and parts and stamp parts for Model A's and early Fords.